I'm Trinae Nari, and welcome to the Philadelphia Business Leaders video series. Today, our guest is Vince Stango. He's the Chief Operating Officer of the National Constitution Center. Thank you for having us today.
Oh, thank you so much for being here.
So, can you tell us a little bit about the mission of the Constitution Center?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So, the National Constitution Center is the national center for debate and education on the U.S. Constitution. We were chartered by Congress in 1988. We opened the museum that we're sitting in now in 2003. But our mission is really to educate all citizens from 8 to 80 on the history and the everyday importance and relevance of the U.S. Constitution. And we do that in three ways. We do it here in Philadelphia at our museum. We do it online through our curriculum for teachers and students. And we also have town hall programs where we bring some of the top scholars and policymakers and authors from around the country to debate constitutional issues, and people from both sides. So the audience can really understand both sides of a constitutional issue and make up their own mind. And we do those programs here in Philadelphia, as I said, and increasingly we're doing them around the country in different major cities, and all that programming is also available online as well.
Cool, that's really interesting. So can you tell us, how did you get involved with the National Constitution Center?
Well, it's a long story, but I'll try to make it.
Okay.
I try to make it brief. I had an undergraduate degree in American history, so I always had an interest in that side of things. And I went to graduate school locally for public administration, and I won't say where. And I really was interested in nonprofit government management. Never thought I would work in a museum, but 16 years later, here I am. I've been here since 1999, so 4 years before the museum opened. And I actually started as the assistant to the CEO when I was in graduate school. So I graduated college in '99, started graduate school, and started working at the Constitution Center all in the same year. And it was interesting for me because it connected my history background with my interest in management and in my graduate education in management. So kind of an interesting combination. But I was able to, with an organization that was just building from the ground up, get in on the ground floor. I was like the fourth or fifth employee that was hired. Learn the business because I worked for the CEO, so I was able to learn all kind of aspects of the business. I did that for a couple of years, and then I actually spent about 5 years in human resources. So I created the HR functions, hired the staff that opened the center, and then gradually took on more and more responsibility in operations, the facility, IT, finance, security, so on and so forth, and have been the chief operating officer for the last 6 years, since 2009. So my whole professional career here at the center, kind of learning it from the ground up, and just a really unique experience that I think partly was the right place and right time for me, but it's worked out really well.
Wow, so you've had experience with the HR, IT, setting things up. So what was your greatest accomplishment within the past 6 years?
We've done a lot in the last 6 years. We've taken our programming to a national level. We've brought in major exhibitions, like one that we created in 2013 called American Spirits, The Rise and Fall of Prohibition, which was incredibly successful and has been traveling around the country. I'm proud of some of the people that we've brought in from a governance standpoint to lead the organization, like our former chairman of the board, Jeb Bush. And we've raised a lot of money to support all of these activities. I'd have to say the thing I'm most proud about is the staff, though. We have a great management team and a great team underneath the management team that makes my job a lot easier, makes the Constitution Center run, and really the people who are kind of have their feet on the ground and are interacting with our visitors and make the place just a vibrant, fun place to learn about the Constitution and learn about the history of our country. So if I had to name one thing, it would definitely be the staff.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So because you are operating so much and you have so many responsibilities, what are some of the challenges that you have to face throughout the day?
Right. So my day is varied, and no 2 days look the same. And I work on things relative to, as you said, kind of all aspects of how the organization runs. I would say one of our primary challenges is to make sure that we are connecting to the community every day, and that we're relevant to the Philadelphia community, while at the same time are living up to our mandate to be a national education center. So we're, yesterday I was in Michigan and we were doing a program there on the overcriminalization. It's a hard word to say.
Okay.
And in front of an audience of 450 business leaders. And that's a way to get awareness for the Constitution Center outside of Philadelphia, and because people care about this issue, whether they can come visit the museum physically or not. They care about the Constitution. They care about the founding of our country and the principles in which the country was founded on. They're patriots all over the country, and people that would like to return to a time when there wasn't as much polarization and dysfunction in government as there is today. So it's just as important for us to be kind of on the road talking about all these issues and extending our program beyond Philadelphia, while at the same time managing the museum, the staff, and all of the issues that are relative to that, and being a part of the Philadelphia community. So that balance is always there. It's kind of a healthy tension, but it's something that I think is unique about the Constitution Center in Philadelphia. We're both a local asset to the community, but also a national organization. So I think that's probably to balance all of that and to do that all very well is challenging, but it's fun too. And like I said, no 2 days are alike, so it keeps it fresh and interesting and constantly evolving, which is great.
Because of all the changes and there's a lot of education issues that you want to get across, despite all the challenges, what is the best part of your job?
For me, it's seeing the school kids come in every day. Some parts of the year there's more school kids than others, but this time of year and in the spring, when they're here and they're engaging with our exhibits and with our staff and learning something that they didn't know, and just having fun and engaging with the material is just really rewarding. And I could imagine a lot of different places where I could be a COO, but where I wouldn't have the opportunity to interact directly with the visitors, directly with the kids, where I hope and I believe that we're making a difference. We're teaching them things that they might not learn in the classroom or might not have access to otherwise, and that's just kind of an awesome high to come in and be able to see that every day.
Now, to our business students who are watching, what kind of preparation do they need in order to get into the field of managing a museum as large as the Constitution Center?
Right. Well, I think, I was thinking about this a little bit, and school is really where you learn all of the kind of the technical skills that you need to be successful, whether it's in management or any other profession. So you've got to, that's obviously a given. You've got to commit the time in school to learn those skills. But I would say outside of that, to get as much experience as you can, volunteering, interning, find organizations that you're passionate about, that you're interested in, whether it's a museum or or anything else, and find a way to connect to that organization, to learn something about what they do, and to maybe get some real life hands-on experience. And then beyond that, whether you're managing a museum or a Fortune 500 company, I think success is really all about relationships. So you're going to put the time in school to learn the kind of the technical requirements of the job. So let's just say that's a given. You put the time in school. But everything else is about relationships. You have to interact with the public. You have to interact with your colleagues and your investors or donors. And you have to be able to communicate with people, from your chairman of your board to the the janitors who clean the facility, to the kids who are 7, 8, 9 years old who might not even be sure why they're on this school trip. And so it really is all about being able to communicate a message and to have relationships and to be able to do it with a whole variety of individuals. And I think that's I would imagine that some of the students watching this are going to have no interest in managing a museum, but I think those are the kinds of skills that you can take and hone no matter what the kind of the career path is that you set out on. So relationship management, communications, that's really, I think, at the heart of success in the business world.
Was there anything else you would like to add? Any other advice you could give?
Sure. I mean, I kind of consider myself a lifelong student. I went to graduate school twice for 2 different degrees. I work in an educational organization. I think it's always important, whether you're in school or if that part of your life is behind you, to continue to invest in your education. You can do that formally by going back to grad school. You can do it informally by, attending seminars and conferences and volunteering, or just kind of reading up on whatever the industry literature is that you're involved with. But I think education is key to the success, and whatever you do, you're going to evolve over time. Whether you're in a museum or not, your skills, what's required of you, what's required of the business that you're in, is going to continue to evolve. So the more you can do to educate yourself, to get ahead of those evolutions, to get ahead of the curve, to anticipate changes coming, I think you'll be set up for greater success. So that would be my kind of parting words of wisdom.
We definitely appreciate you, Mr. Stango. You've been watching the Philadelphia Business Leaders video series.